InZOI is now in early access and I've been playing it for a big chunk of time, so I thought we would do a review chat. I'm Zoe and I'm here with Emma.
Hello.
Emma is a big fan of The Sims, so I thought it would be good to get you on here so we can chat about InZOI.
Yeah, I'm super excited to hear what you've been up to so far. Like you said, dipped in and out of The Sims a lot over its whole lifetime. So yeah, excited to hear what's new.
Oh my god, yes, so much.
Definitely. Like, it's a new live sim game. It's out in early access now, I think.
Yes, it is in early access as of today, the 28th. It's been causing a lot of stir online because honestly, someone needs to come for the Sims throne. It's just kind of taking the piss at the moment, I think. Is that heresy to say?
That's the thing. So I'm a massive fan. So I mean, maybe, but like honestly, I think any competition is good.
Yes.
Like, definitely excited to see what new ideas have been brought in. I know InZOI is going for kind of more of a realistic look as well.
Yes, it is.
Which is very interesting. So yeah, I mean, just getting straight into it, like, what do you think of it so far?
Oh my god, I really like it. I've dabbled in The Sims, but I was always more of a builder than like a player, if that makes sense. So I like building houses and customizing houses and building my sim. And InZOI has just kind of taken everything that I liked from The Sims and just made it better. And in like such a unique way as well. So you can tell that it's made by people who like The Sims but also know what to improve in The Sims. So when you're creating your character, the amount of editing you can do not only to their face and their skin and their hair, etc., but also to their wardrobe is amazing. Like, you can change the colours and the textures of what it is they dress in. There's obviously different types of outfits for all different kinds of occasions, like swimwear and your everyday wear and your pajamas and things like that. But I think where it really shines is there are these options to choose kind of what personality your ZOI has. So the personality is a tiny bit in less detail than The Sims, because in The Sims you can pick preferences, dislikes, likes, loves, and all that stuff. But in InZOI you pick like a tarot card to describe how your InZOI behaves. And the tarot card description is like fairly vague, so it's vague enough for you to make your own like specific personality from that. So I chose the individualist for my ZOI that I created, which means they like spending time on their own and reading and being creative. And that card that you pick determines what kinds of things they want to do. So I created my ZOI, who is basically me. And then I was like, I need to go outside and socialise with some people to see what that's like. And all my ZOI wanted to do was go home when I got out into the social scene. I made her too much like myself, essentially.
Yeah, like you mentioned with the likes and dislikes and stuff, I imagine, obviously Sims has been out, well, Sims 4 specifically has been out for over a decade now.
Yeah.
So that's like something like 11 years of updates and all, things like that. So I imagine like sort of in its early state, InZOI's kind of sort of building towards that and building into getting a lot deeper. But that does sound like really, really cool. Like it sounds like if you're able to make one that's very much like you already, it's off to like a good start, which is very fun.
It is, yeah. You do get to add your preferences later on. You can find them in this little like app you have in the game to be like, I like this, I don't like this. But there's also, you do have like aspirations, which I think is what they called in The Sims when it's like what you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you can kind of build to it over your life, and they might change if you reach them early or something like that, but there's kind of like a theme that you'll sort of pick. Like, you might be family oriented, or you might want to earn lots of money or something like that, and there's kind of like, I guess they're like challenges almost of you to hit like certain milestones in your life. Is that kind of similar?
Yeah, so they have, I think it's called aspirations, but it's in the same card style where you pick the life that your ZOI wants. So you can have a life of tranquility, which is very calm, and the image for it is like gardening or something, so it's very zen. Or you can have a life of romance, which is where your ZOI wants to like date loads of different people. But there's loads of different kind of aspirations you can have, and they're all themed around very like unique ideas. So one of them is basically like you're like your type A personality. You want to be the best at everything. So like reading loads of self-help books, doing well in your career, like always pushing for new experiences. And then the life at the creative is the one that I picked, and that's even more insular than before. It's like you like painting and exploring trends and stuff. So there's loads that you can do. If you're the kind of player who likes having something to aim for, you can pick one of these aspirations, and then that'll determine what's called your urges. So urges, I think, work in the same way as like wants in The Sims. So this isn't like sleeping, eating, going to the bathroom. This is like your urges are like wanting to spend time on your phone, wanting to go home, which is what my ZOI wanted to do, wanting to read a book. So all of those things determine how your ZOI behaves, because while you can control them yourself by using WASD to walk around, I prefer like just kind of letting them do whatever they want to do and then just trying to steer them in the ways that I want to steer them. But you can absolutely play it like a third person omniscient game where you're just kind of controlling your ZOI and walking around and telling people to go away, which is what I did when I finally socialized. I was trying to talk to these women on the beach, and this one guy, the same dude, kept coming over and interrupting, and my ZOI told him to go away multiple times, and he just wouldn't get the message. But yeah, very, very like real life, honestly.
That's super interesting. Yeah. Like you mentioned the character creation as well. Were you able to make, like, how close were you able to get with making your ZOI look like you? Was it quite easy?
Yeah, my ZOI doesn't really look like me. She has silver hair and that's pretty much it. But with character creation, the amount of detail you can go into is wild. Like, I know you can change eyelashes in The Sims, but in InZOI, like you said at the beginning, it's so much more realistic, so you can change the types of lashes they have, and they're not kind of, because I think The Sims has almost that like cartoony style kind of, so
Okay, yeah.
but whereas in InZOI you can have like very obviously fake lashes, or you can have natural lashes or mascara lashes. Like, that amount of detail is there for your ZOI to customize them. And aside from like, there's the normal things like, you know, wrinkles. You can add, one of the cute things, you can add like spot stickers, you know, like when you get
Love
blemishes,
it.
which,
Yeah.
oh my God, I exclaimed when I saw that. It's so cute. But you can, the amount of customization there is in the character is intense, so you could absolutely spend more time and try to get it to look like you. I spent a couple of hours in character creation, and that was me being speedy because I wanted to get into the main game. So much more to edit. What's also cool about InZOI is that you can change the city as well as your ZOI itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really sick. So there are 3 different areas you can choose to have your ZOI in. So there's Bliss Bay, which is kind of like San Francisco, like very Americana. There's Dowon, which I think is quite like Seoul in Korea. And then there's a new island coming at some point called Kuchinku, I think, Kuzinku, that looks like Hawaii. So there are different like areas and biomes, I guess, you can live in. But what's cool is when you get into the city itself, you can change things like how clean and how run down it is, how many ZOIs are pregnant, how many ZOIs are in relationships, the vegetation around the city. So I replaced palm trees with, I think, sakura trees or something like that. You can change the wildlife available. So I changed the wildlife from like squirrels and stuff to deer, maybe raccoons and alligators.
A good mix.
Yeah, just keep them guessing. But that's also what makes InZOI quite unique, is that you can change the city to kind of build the world around your ZOI. So if you went for one of those Life of Romance cards, you could change it so that more ZOIs are single as opposed to in romantic relationships. Or hey, you may want them to be in romantic relationships, and you might just want to cause some drama, which is completely fair.
We love drama.
We do love drama, yeah. But yeah, I really liked that as well, because you can, even like things you can add to the city as well, like you can add fireworks, like visual effects. So there are like fireworks, there are butterflies, you can make sure there are butterflies all around your city. When you're building your house, if you go into like the miscellaneous tab, there are options to build like food carts, and there are shopping mannequins. So I assume you can kind of set up a shop at some point if you want to. You can build your own shop. Like, I think the thing with InZOI is there's so much potential with it. And even though it's an early access, I can kind of see where they're trying to go with it. And I'm really excited to see what's coming, honestly.
Yeah, like I'm genuinely very surprised that all of that is already in there.
Yes.
You know, I honestly thought it would mainly be like, you know, focusing on being at home, building a life, getting a job, you know, kind of the sort of, I guess, the basics. But that sounds like
intense.
Very different. Yeah, which is cool.
The one other cool thing, you mentioned jobs there about InZOI, is that your ZOI has something called a schedule. So that is what it sounds like. But it means that at certain times, you can turn schedules on or off, so you don't have to have this if you don't want to. Your ZOI will want to go to specific places. So my ZOI wanted to go to the beach in the evening on like a Monday or something, because that was part of her schedule. And when I got her a job, because capitalism, times during the day, she's then off at her job. So the ZOI, independent of you being like, I'd like to see what the beach is like, your ZOI will stick to their schedule, which is really cool because it gives you more opportunities to run into other ZOIs without having to engineer all of that by yourself. Another cool thing about InZOI, I'm sorry, I know this is a tangent, there are money cheats just right out there in the open. So if you don't want your ZOI to have a job and you just want them to kind of live a life of leisure, you can press this button that literally says money cheat and it'll give you like 100k.
That is very cool. That is very cool.
I love that they're not hiding it. They're like, yeah, sure, of course, if you want to play this way, go for it. So you don't have to type in Motherlode or Rosebud or anything. So yeah, I really, really like InZOI at the moment. The only thing I would say needs some work. I mean, I had some issues with pathfinding and stuff with my ZOI. She started to hoover the grass in my backyard. And I was like, okay, clean queen, go off. But also, maybe just hoover inside, girl. But the amount of furniture is quite low. I think having played The Sims here and there, I was always impressed by just how much there was to decorate your house with. But then again, as you said before, The Sims has been going for like, would you say 11 years or something?
Yeah, I think it came out in 2014.
Oh my God.
So, which feels like an eternity ago now.
It really does. So in comparison to The Sims, the amount of furniture and wallpaper is very low. However, there is the option to import textures and images into the game itself. So you can do that if you want like a specific texture for your wallpaper, you can kind of just import it into the game. But for more kind of complicated 3D objects like sofas and beds and stuff, I do feel like there's not a lot of choice. But this is an early access, so you'd expect that to kind of grow and flourish over time. I think they're going to be in early access for about a year, so I'll be interested to see just how much they beef up the furniture catalogue in that time.
Like you mentioned, you know, every time there's a new expansion or a game pack or something like that with Sims, and we've had lots of them, it will always have like, yeah, new clothes, new furniture and things like that. So yeah, this is like something to build towards, definitely. But that's really cool that you can import your own stuff. Like if I wanted to sort of, I don't know, build like my real life office, maybe I could get quite close to it in InZOI.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can upload textures and images. So if there's a texture you want for a sofa, the choice is incredible anyway. Like you can have leather, faux leather, old leather. You can edit the amount of gloss there is to items. So like how, if it's plastic, how shiny it is. If it's leather, like how wet it is, I guess, or something. But yeah, you can import textures yourself. So if you find a texture that you like, you can just import it into the game. They also have like AI generation or something. Like I think you can import a picture and it will turn it into a 3D object, which I haven't tried out.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that sounds super high tech.
Exactly right. And I don't know, I just felt a bit apprehensive about it, so I haven't tried it yet. But that is an option. Interested to see how AI will kind of try and replicate something based on a 2D image, but you know, whatever. But yeah, so I just hope that when new things come out, they don't charge you an arm and a leg like EA does for The Sims, which really pisses me off. I think I looked up how much it would cost to own every expansion pack, and it was like over $1,500 or something. It was ridiculous.
It is a lot. Yeah. Especially if you want all of them, like
It's so expensive.
it's a lot of money. But yeah, talking about like all of the stuff you kind of mentioned sounds like quite like intensive for a PC. Like how's the game sort of running for you? Have you had any issues with it or anything like that?
So no, actually, but I will preface that with saying I do have a really beefy PC, really beefy. I know that our guides editor, Lottie, has had some issues with being able to run the game on their PC or laptop, I'm not sure which, but like InZOI is demanding, like it doesn't let up. You can obviously change the graphics and kind of the demand it places on your PC or laptop, but I know that I'm very lucky to have a PC that can run it as smoothly as it does, but it is intensive. I will give it that. I think there are some things that add to it, how it runs as well. Like there are things called, I think, Smart ZOI, where you can see the internal thoughts of your ZOI, which is like an AI like thing. And I turned it on because I was like, I want to see what my InZOI's thinking, but they don't, not to read myself too much, but there's nothing going on in that head of hers. Like it's not very exciting what she's thinking. So I turned that off. But I think you can like lessen the load on your PC by kind of switching more demanding things like that on and off. But yeah, I'm not really one to comment on how it performs because I'm just aware that my PC is a big boy, so it can handle quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I know like Sims, kind of the way it looks, and you know, I think part of the idea is so that it kind of runs on everything pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is good, like, because you know it's got a massive fan base, but everyone's going to have different PCs. Some people are running it on, you know, laptop or something like that. But yeah, that's really interesting. Anything that surprised you kind of about?
Yeah, so you can drive your car manually, which I really liked.
Oh, okay.
So whereas you can go on the map and be like, drive to this place once you buy yourself a car through your phone, which is cool. You can also, I think, just get in the car and just drive around, which is kind of GTA like themed of
that sounds it.
But it's really cool. Like, I really appreciate the amount of control you can have over your ZOI if you want. So not only using WASD, but also I can get in my truck and just kind of drive around and be a menace to society if I want to. But that did surprise me because that was like, when I used to play The Sims, I always got a little bit pissed off that when I wanted to go somewhere, it was kind of like a loading screen in between. And while there is still a loading screen here, you have the option of just driving to that place yourself if you want to, which I think is really sick.
I mean, obviously, it's literally just out in early access now, but everything you've said sounds super cool. Like, very, very exciting. And like, you know, as someone who likes The Sims, I'm like, oh, maybe I should check this out. Yeah. Do you think it's worth getting in early access, like right now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for under 40 quid, it is so much that you're getting. And obviously, because it's an early access, you're paying a lower price than you otherwise would, which I like to see it as an investment. You know, like, it's going to be in early access for about a year, they say, and in that time, they're going to keep adding things. And in the end, I think I wouldn't be surprised if when this game was out in Phil, it would be like 80 quid, because it's a really big undertaking starting it and playing it. There's so much content in it. So I would definitely recommend it. Even if you've only kind of touched The Sims and not been super into it, but you're interested in this, I would 100% suggest it. And if you like The Sims, definitely get it. I mean, I'm just looking at the Steam reviews right now. Bearing in mind it went live today in early access, it's already got 2,300 reviews and it's very positive. 86% of the reviews are positive. So that we're recording this, little peek behind the curtain, at 11:30 a.m. So that means in 11 hours-ish, depending on when it went live, people are responding very well to it. So yeah, I would 100% suggest it. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, honestly, based off what you've said, especially like the wider world stuff, I think I was not expecting that at all. You know, for you to be able to control like what's going on. I feel like in Sims they've kind of there is like a little bit of a story and there's like Sims lore in the background going on, and it feels like you can interact with that a bit in the Sims, but you know, it is also kind of established already, and those areas and those zones and the different areas you get with different expansions and the worlds and stuff are kind of already there, and you're sort of just, it feels like you're just sort of in them.
Yes. This
sounds like you have way more control over that, and you can like really customize it on like a granular level, and that sounds super cool.
Absolutely. Like, you could this is something I'm going to try to do actually. You could 100% build like a dystopian city that's dirty and like more InZOIs die per year than usual, because that's something you can change as well, and like put your InZOI or your ZOI in this world and kind of see how they survive in it and what it ends up being. I think the thing with InZOI is that it's not just like how am I going to say this? It's not just like a kind of Sims-esque game. It's like life simulation, like proper life simulation. So that's why it's so cool that you can control the city outside of your own ZOI. So yeah, I mean, TLDR, if you skip to the end, then yeah, buy InZOI. I think it's great. I really enjoyed it. I lost a lot of time playing it over the past week or two.
That's a good sign though, you know, like I feel like with these games you can easily lose a few hours, and if that happens, you know you're having a good time. You know, you look at the clock and you're like, oh no, it's already 1 o'clock in the morning, I should go to bed.
I've been in character creator for 4 hours and I've just moved on to the lips. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is review chat for InZOI. Thank you for joining me, Emma.
Thank you. It's been really great to learn about it, and I hope everyone else enjoyed the chat as much as I did.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, that it's encouraged you to buy InZOI, enabled you in a way, then please do chuck this video a like and make sure to subscribe to Eurogamer for more videos about video games almost every single day. And now I am going to go and play more InZOI. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.